Grace Morris, here with Allie Zirkle, who just finished her 11th place winning Iditarod. So Allie, I know you're a veteran musher. How many years have you done the Iditarod?
The 2011 race is my 10th year of doing the Iditarod.
You must have started when you were really young. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I know I don't look this old, but I'm 41. I've been racing for a long time.
How did you get started?
I started by racing dogs around the small town where I lived.
Well, are you married?
I am. His name's Alan Moore.
Did you meet while racing?
No, actually we were both working construction, pounding nails at the Eielson Air Force Base.
How does he feel about you racing the Iditarod?
Funny you should ask. Alan is a musher too, and he's in the race with me. It's fun to race together. Between the two of us, we've completed 16 Iditarods.
How did Alan do in this year's Iditarod?
He came in 24th place.
How do you feel about beating your husband?
We both did really well. We both have really good teams. Our dogs are really strong. I've just been doing it a lot longer.
You came in 11th place. How do you feel about your success?
I'm really proud of where I did, how I did. Every year I run the race that I need to year, and this year I did particularly well.
If you don't mind, I'd like to talk about your dogs.
Sure, that's one of my favorite subjects.
Who started in lead position?
Keto and Butterscotch started in lead position, but we moved Butterscotch after a while because he slowed down.
Why do you think he slowed down?
He's just getting heavier and slower, so we moved him to the middle, but he did really well in the middle. We have to move dogs around a lot.
Well, since you moved Butterscotch down, who'd you put in lead?
We moved Scout up to the front with Keto because he's very reliable. Keto is always a really strong dog. He does really well. He's a good leader.
Then who?
Then we had the Big O. That's Olivia. And Nacho. They work really well together. Then we had Nutmeg, Tatfish, and then Tony, Tugboat, Biscuit, and I think Willie. They're all really strong dogs. We have to move them around a lot.
I have a dog named Keto, just like our Keto.
Nice. Would you like to see him?
Sure, I'd love to.
Here, Keto. Come here, boy. Here, Keto.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
What kinds of dogs do you run?
They're mostly a mix of Siberian Husky and Alaskan Malamute. That way they have really thick fur that keeps them warm.
Do the dogs ever get cold on the trail?
They actually do.
What kinds of equipment do you have when the dogs get cold?
For when it's really windy, we have wind jackets for them. And when it gets really cold, we have some thicker, warmer coats for them.
I've heard that greyhounds were used in the breeding of mushing. Is that true?
Well, way back a long time ago, greyhounds were actually bred in with the Huskies and the Malamutes, but they didn't have as thick of a coat, so that those dogs didn't do as well in the extreme conditions.
Have you been in any other extreme races?
The Yukon Quest is a really extreme race. It's 1,000 miles, brutal conditions. It's really a lot harsher than the Iditarod is at times.
Was it hard to finish the race?
It was probably one of the hardest races I've ever had to compete in. But I was the only woman actually who's ever, won. I won in 2000.
That's amazing. What other races have you been in?
Sheep Mountain 150, the Jinjin 200, and the Copper Basin 300.
Jinjin. That sounds like an interesting name. What does Jinjin stand for?
Well, the Jinjin 200 was actually named after a really famous racing dog. She had incredible loyalty, and she didn't even know her limits.
What advice would you give to other mushers?
I would say the most important advice is to race your team, not your competitors. What I mean by that is, just because one mush team doesn't give their dogs a break, doesn't mean you shouldn't. So, you know your team and you know what they need.
Well, what race do you think you'll do next?
Honestly, we need some downtime right now.
Well, after racing season's over, what do you think you're going to do?
I'm going to take the dogs camping. They love that.
Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for adding me on Facebook.
No problem.